Have you ever noticed that the smartest people in the room rarely feel the need to prove it? They don't rush to correct others or show off what they know. In fact, sometimes they seem almost oblivious, like they don't fully grasp what's happening around them. But here's the truth. It's all an act. What if I told you that playing dumb is one of the most powerful strategies for outsmarting everyone? That the greatest minds, including Schopenhauer, knew that pretending to be clueless is sometimes the smartest move you can make? We live in a world that rewards confidence and intelligence, where people feel the need to prove themselves. But true wisdom lies in doing the opposite. The one who speaks less, listens more, and allows others to reveal themselves holds the real power. And when the time is right, they strike, not with force, but with knowledge no one saw coming. This is Schopenhauer's secret, a way to control the game without anyone realizing it. Let's break it down. If intelligence is power, why do the wisest people often conceal it? In a world obsessed with showcasing knowledge, it seems counterintuitive. Yet Schopenhauer understood that true intelligence isn't about proving superiority. It's about knowing when to reveal and when to withhold. Most people equate intelligence with dominance. They believe that the loudest, most assertive person in the room is the smartest. But this assumption creates an illusion of superiority, a trap that the truly wise learn to exploit. When someone appears uninformed, others let their guard down. They become more open, more revealing, assuming they have the upper hand. And that's where the real advantage begins. Schopenhauer saw deception not as dishonesty, but as a necessary tool of wisdom. He argued that concealing one's intellect isn't weakness, it's strategy. The moment you prove you're the smartest, you invite competition, resistance, and even resentment. But if you appear unthreatening, people willingly expose themselves. They speak without caution, giving away more than they realize. This is the essence of strategic ignorance. Not actual ignorance, but the illusion of it. By seeming unaware, you gain access to information others wouldn't share with someone they saw as an equal. You influence situations without force, control narratives without confrontation. The greatest minds understand that intelligence isn't about winning arguments or impressing others. It's about positioning yourself to see what others can't. And sometimes, the best way to do that is by playing dumb. Most people spend their lives trying to prove they're the smartest person in the room. But the real power lies in being overlooked. When others assume you're not a threat, they expose more than they realize, giving you an advantage without even knowing it. Schopenhauer understood that the greatest tactical position is one of invisibility. When people think you're naive, they speak freely. They overestimate their own intelligence, revealing their thoughts, intentions, and weaknesses without restraint. This is how control shifts, not through force, but through perception. Playing dumb is not about deception in the traditional sense. It's about letting others believe what they want while you gather information, study their behaviors, and predict their next moves. Social dynamics are built on confidence, and the overconfident are the easiest to manipulate. The moment someone believes they are superior, they stop questioning their own judgment. They stop being careful, and that's when they make mistakes. History is filled with those who mastered this strategy. Socrates feigned ignorance to expose flawed reasoning. Einstein was dismissed as absent-minded, only to revolutionize physics. Even Napoleon understood the value of appearing weaker than he was, luring enemies into a false sense of security before striking. Being underestimated isn't a weakness. It's a position of strength disguised as vulnerability. The person no one sees as a threat holds the most power because they see everything, while others remain blind to their own arrogance. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, the real power belongs to those who know when to stay silent. Information is currency, and like wealth, it loses value the moment you give too much of it away. The less you reveal, the more control you maintain, not just over yourself, but over those around you. Schopenhauer believed that words should be spent carefully, like money. Oversharing weakens you, making your thoughts predictable and your strategies transparent. The more people know about you, your goals, your fears, your next move, the easier you are to control. But when you keep them guessing, they scramble to fill in the gaps, often revealing more about themselves in the process. Modern psychology confirms this. People fear uncertainty. When confronted with silence, they rush to fill it, unknowingly exposing their true intentions. A well-placed pause, a vague response, or a simple nod can be far more revealing than any direct question. The less you disclose, the more others talk, and the more they talk, the more power shifts in your favor. Schopenhauer understood that perception is everything. If people believe you are unaware, they speak without caution, assuming they are the ones in control. But in reality, they are revealing their own strategies, weaknesses, and biases. The mistake they make? They assume silence is ignorance, when in truth, it is the ultimate form of control. By speaking less, you see more. By revealing little, you gain everything. The easiest way to expose someone isn't by arguing with them. It's by letting them speak. Schopenhauer understood that when people believe they are the smartest in the room, they can't resist the urge to prove it. And the best way to encourage this? Ask questions that make you seem clueless. This is the reverse Socratic method, a tactic that turns arrogance into self-destruction. People love explaining things, especially to those they assume know less. They become overconfident, simplifying complex ideas, exaggerating their expertise, or contradicting themselves entirely. Given enough space, they expose their own flaws without realizing it. This strategy is lethal in negotiations. A skilled negotiator never rushes to state their position. Instead, they ask seemingly naive questions. How did you come up with that number? Or, can you walk me through your reasoning? The more the other party explains, the more leverage they reveal. They either justify their stance poorly or admit weaknesses in their logic. Either way, they lose power. In business and social settings, this method forces people to show their hand. A CEO who appears uncertain about market trends might encourage competitors to boast about their strategy, unknowingly revealing their vulnerabilities. A politician pretending not to grasp a policy detail might coax an opponent into over-explaining, exposing contradictions. People assume knowledge is power. But in reality, the true power lies in making others believe they are the smartest. Let them talk. Let them explain. And watch as they walk themselves straight into a trap of their own making. The moment you react emotionally, you lose control. Schopenhauer understood that power doesn't belong to the one who speaks first, argues loudest, or fights hardest. It belongs to the one who remains unmoved. Feigning ignorance isn't just about gaining information. It's about controlling the emotional tone of any interaction. When you appear unaware, people assume you're not a threat. They see no need to confront you, no reason to defend themselves. By contrast, the moment you engage in an argument, you reveal your position, your emotions, and, most dangerously, your weaknesses. This is why emotional people are easy to manipulate. They are predictable, reacting to provocation exactly as expected. The more they reveal their frustrations, the easier they are to control. Meanwhile, the person who remains still, who absorbs rather than reacts, dictates the tempo of the conversation. This is especially effective in conflicts. When someone expects resistance but is met with neutrality, they don't know how to proceed. Their own aggression works against them, making them seem irrational while you remain composed. It's why the best negotiators never argue. They let others exhaust themselves while they simply observe. Silence, restraint, and strategic ignorance create an impenetrable shield. When others expect an emotional reaction but get nothing, they become uncomfortable. They second-guess their approach. They weaken. Schopenhauer's wisdom was clear. The one who controls their emotions controls the situation. The true advantage isn't in fighting. It's in never letting others know what moves you in the first place. Impatience is the downfall of the arrogant. Those desperate to prove their intelligence reveal too much, too soon, exposing their intentions, exhausting their energy, and making themselves predictable. Schopenhauer understood that true power lies in restraint. The wisest don't rush to be recognized. They wait, letting others burn themselves out. When you allow people to think they are ahead, they lower their guard. They become overconfident, believing they have already won. Meanwhile, you move unnoticed, gathering knowledge, watching their mistakes, and preparing for the moment when revealing your intelligence will have the greatest impact. This is the essence of strategic patience. The one who speaks first loses flexibility. The one who acts prematurely limits their options. But the one who observes, waits, and times their move precisely dictates the outcome. History proves this time and again. Military leaders feign weakness to lure enemies into traps. Master chess players sacrifice pieces to gain positional advantage. The greatest minds let others think they are outmatched until the moment comes to reveal their strength. Schopenhauer knew that intelligence isn't just about knowing more. It's about knowing when to act. A well-timed display of brilliance is far more powerful than constant assertion. When people believe they have already won, they are unprepared for a challenge. And when you finally reveal the depth of your knowledge, it's too late for them to recover. The world is filled with those who waste energy proving themselves. The truly wise let them, because in the end, it's not the one who moves first that wins. It's the one who moves best. Playing dumb is a strategy, not a permanent state. The greatest mistake isn't in concealing intelligence, but in never revealing it. Schopenhauer believed that wisdom isn't just knowing when to stay silent. It's knowing when to speak. The moment of revelation is what turns passive observation into real power. There's a fine line between strategic ignorance and genuine weakness. Staying silent without purpose makes you invisible, but controlled deception means choosing when and how to reveal your intelligence. The goal is not to remain underestimated forever, but to let others walk into their own illusions. Then shatter them when it benefits you most. This is what separates passive ignorance from calculated restraint. The fool stays silent because they have nothing to say. The wise remain quiet because they are waiting for the perfect moment to speak. And when they do, it changes everything. History is filled with those who mastered this balance. A lawyer who appears clueless in the opening argument, but delivers an airtight case at the right moment. A strategist who lets opponents become complacent before turning the tables. A leader who plays along with the crowd until the decisive moment to assert dominance. The most powerful minds never waste intelligence on an audience that isn't ready for it. They reveal only what is necessary, only when it maximizes impact. Playing dumb sets the stage, but knowing when to drop the act is what ensures victory. Because true power isn't just about seeing more than others. It's about knowing exactly when to show them what they never saw coming.